Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Comics Pals Reviews. I am your host, Sean, joined this week by two of my favorite people who are here with me on a Zoom call right now. Marco.
Hello, I made it to favorite.
Well, today that are here with me right now.
Oh, I see. Okay, that was the condition.
It's a low bar.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. And Tyler.
I was on cloud 9 2 seconds ago, and then I read between the lines. What's between the lines there? So
I like to pull the rug out from under people. I like
that makes people fall, Sean.
I like to set people up for the fall. It's fun. You know who else likes to set people up for falls? Tom King. He sets us all up for a fall every single time he puts out a new book. We've all been very excited for Human Target, which we're going to be reading today. Tom King and Greg Smallwood, Human Target #1. We've got Dark Knights of Steel #1. And last but far from least, we have Swamp Thing #9. Even though it says 9 of 10, it's actually 9 of 16. So we've got a little bit to talk about when it comes to that. I'll explain it later, Marco. Before we get into that,
it sounds like a Borg.
Is that a Star Trek
thing? That's a Star Trek thing. I thought this was a nerdy podcast, guys. Jeez.
No, sorry.
You took it too far, man. All right.
I went too far in the nerd section.
Yeah. We can talk about
comic books. We're not going. All right.
We're not those fucking weirdos.
Yeah, come on. If you want to support the podcast, there are many ways that you can do so. Wherever you're listening to us, leave us a follow, a rating, and a review. Share your thoughts about the show, wherever it is that you're checking us out. YouTube.com/thecomicspals is where you can subscribe to our channel for more content like this and our awesome interviews with plenty of creators from New York Comic Con and beyond. Like the video, share it with your friends. As I mentioned, subscribe to our channel. All of that's free, and it helps us out a lot more than it costs you. If you leave comments, we will answer them on the main show, The Comics Pals, which drops every single Monday. We're talking about the characters and the creators that you love and all of the cool stuff that is going on with them. Let's begin this week's reviews with The Human Target. First of all, I want to say that we have, we've had our ebbs and flows with Tom King over the last couple of years. I think, Strange Adventure started as a down point for some of us. It ended really great. Rorschach, I think all three of us on this podcast were on the whole ride and loved it. And so coming into Human Target, for us at least, there was a ton of excitement and hype. Tom King has been back. But what do we think about this issue 1? I think sometimes Tom's issue 1s can be a little, they take a little bit of time to get into. Slow burn books. What do you think about this particular issue 1? Marco, why don't you start? You've got a face.
I don't like your tone, Sean. It's making it sound like you didn't enjoy this first issue, and here's what I'll give you. I'll give you that his issue 1s are a difficult sort of step into a world, and I think in this scenario, the first read that I did of it, I was lost. I'm like, what's going on here? I made it to page 7, and
you
I'm
read
just
it
like,
twice.
I read it twice.
Man,
and
I feel like I'm underperforming. Gosh.
Step it up, Tyler.
Wow.
And I think when you first read it and get through all the way through the weird, wacky pages that I'm sure we'll talk about in a second, but whatever page that was, I'm scrolling, trying to find it right now. Page 9. And then the story continues. It gets into a good flow. But then once you hit the end, sort of circle back to the beginning, it all makes this really perfect, cohesive sense. And I appreciated it for that, because I think I was frustrated how it confused me at first, but I appreciated it for having to make me work a little bit. And I don't mind when a comic makes me do that. And so at first glance, I thought it was a pretty stellar start.
You, Tyler.
Yeah, I guess as you guys know, I am a Tom King fan. At least I like his work a lot. I even liked Heroes in Crisis up until the second to last issue, and I was like,
God.
all right, hold on, maybe not.
Having to listen to you defend that book was hard.
That's why my old podcast shut down. No, so I mean, then Strange Adventures came out, and that was the first issue to say it was a little obtuse. I don't think anyone really knew like what is going on here. There was a big question mark over everything, which was intentional. It going into this, and Rorschach was a little bit like that too. It's like, did it grab me? Yes, but I still didn't really know what was going on in Rorschach either. It wasn't. It takes a couple issues usually, at least for the most recent Tom King books, to really kind of get your fingers in and realize, oh, I see what's going on here. But I thought this one kind of hit the ground running and was a lot more straightforward.
Yes,
and I
Tyler.
really enjoyed that. It's like it's a classic, right? It's a whodunit. Somebody is, or it's a whodunit, except the victim is investigating his own death, really, which is a nice little twist on it. I actually enjoyed, and it's going to deal with JLI, which just seems like Tom King was like, "Can I just pick whatever?" Because I don't even know where this sits in. Oh, it's Black Label. That's why. I guess.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, that makes sense now. It could be whenever. I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a lot of fun. I like Tom King, but I like Greg Smallwood even more. I've been a huge Smallwood fan for a while now. His Jeff Lemire, he was with Jeff Lemire on Moon Knight, which is fantastic stuff.
Phenomenal.
So I was in from the pitch of this book, and I am in for the long run now that I read the first issue. So
yes.
Well, I agree with everything Tyler said about issue ones of Tom King's being very hard to kind of penetrate. But honestly, this was the most coherent issue one he's put out in a long time. I thought this was a fantastic issue. And
it's like a really good issue one, which I don't typically say of Tom King. Tom King's like, let it play out. It's like WWE booking. Like maybe something will happen. And
it's like a manga. It's like, hey, wait till like volume 3 and you'll get into it.
Well, the thing that makes this so good is that not only do we have a clear understanding of kind of what kind of man our protagonist is, but we also have a clear idea that, there are some stakes here. This dude's life is probably going to end within the course of this book. And that's, even if that doesn't happen, it's kind of a promise that like, I'm going to die. I need to figure out who killed me before that happens. We understand what the stakes are, what our character wants, and what he has to do to achieve that. That's perfect. That's basics. And then you add on some of the like guest appearances from characters across the DCU, like Lex Luthor, who I thought was used very well here. You never really see characters get to just talk to Lex out like in a non-antagonistic way, which I really like. That was cool. And then Dr. Midnight, I think.
Yep.
I liked him a lot as well. I don't think I've ever seen him before, but I liked him a lot. I thought Tom accomplished a lot in the pages that he had. I'm not sure if this was an oversized issue. I don't think it was, but he didn't waste any time.
Yeah. There was, I think it was your just typical, like, I think it might have been 30 pages. Because the whole book itself is 32. I'm seeing here 29 pages, and then like a few of those are one or two is a double page, so maybe 30 at most. But yeah, effective use.
There are quite a few ads too, right? So.
I don't get ads on Comixology. Sorry.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
very bags over here.
If he were really Mr. Moneybags, he would have this sweet cover. Wouldn't he?
Is it one of those like glossy covers too, where like you can
is
it
really? Okay,
yep.
well,
yeah, Marco, it is. Stuff. Yeah,
like your fingerprints don't get all over it either. It's just nice.
Exactly.
I miss it. I admit I miss it. So I do have more room coming up in my life soon, so maybe I'll go back. But who knows? Who knows?
You'll be selective. Yeah, I thought this was great. I thought that the art was fantastic. Greg Smallwood, you mentioned he was on Moon Knight. I don't have memories of that Jeff Lemire run. I know I read some amount of it, but I just don't really remember it. But yeah, this was so taking it under the assumption that I can't remember what he's done. This was a great reintroduction to Greg Smallwood's art. Very clean, like unbelievably clean. And the colors too. Just oh my god, this is great work.
Yeah, and one thing with Smallwood is that his facial work and his like character design is very. It almost looks photo reference, but like I can't pinpoint who these people are. Like where some people would be like, oh, that's obviously, I don't know, Natalie Portman or Olivia Munn. Nothing against Mitch Gerrits, but like that was Olivia Munn in Strange Adventures. Let's be real. His stuff is just like it's just clean, man, and he has this like heavy line too, which is almost antithetical to like the photo referency or like realistic art. That really helps his figures really pop out of the backgrounds and stuff. It's almost chalky too. I like it.
That's what I think it is. It's like that chalk texture because like the thick line I think would denote, it would make it feel more like almost like a Doc Shaner kind of thing where he has very defined characteristics that gives it that golden age look, but because it looks almost, one of the things that I always thought of when thinking of the Jeff Lemire on Moon Knight, it looked sandy. It just had this granular texture. It had this grit, almost like a camera grain on it.
It also worked in Moon Knight because there's a lot of sand and it was in Egypt in parts of it too. So like there was like a thematic point of it too. Yeah.
And like that was super effective. And I think here, to your point, that's still that graininess makes it feel, it still feels like that sort of golden age cartoony, but photorealistic in that, you can take a picture and you get that like grain sometimes in film. And I think that's sort of what he puts out there. He has this texture on the art that just like is so different and accentuates the lines that you just called out. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. I want to show a page because this page kind of freaked me out a little bit. Like it's creepy, but I don't know if it's intended to be. So I want to see if you guys got the same vibe as I did. Did this page with the JLI kind of creep you out at all? I'm showing it for YouTube.
Nope. I loved it.
They looked, hold on, because I did know one of them in particular. They looked sort of menacing in like that.
Right.
I'm smiling.
You guys are getting that, really?
Yeah, and like I'm smiling and happy, but really underneath there's something going on. Especially with the implication that was going on the page is like, oh, maybe somebody in the JLI is trying to murder you.
Yeah, like I love the page.
It's Gnort, guys, right? It's got to be Gnort.
I don't know.
I'll admit, Gnort looked menacing, but I loved that because of the angle it was set. It's like classic JLI. Just if you remember that like famous the
group
JLI
picture
cover. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, and we haven't seen the JLI in comics as like this version of it for how long? Like.
It's been
decades.
A while.
Yeah, and like
since Jeff Johns, no?
I don't think Jeff Johns wrote this kind of.
I'm thinking JLA.
It's just JSA. Yeah,
JSA. Yes.
So all thumbs up on Human Target. This was my pick of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, I couldn't betray Swamp Thing.
I'm gonna pick this one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm picking this one up for sure, but it's not quite the book of the week.
Okay. That's fair. Let's talk about the book that no one chose as book of the week, which is before
we go. Let's say it right here. Who done it?
Oh yes, good. Yes, Tyler.
Yeah.
If we're okay, we'll go on the assumption that it's a JLI member because that's what it posits in this. It could just be Lex. Who knows? But I guess if we'll go under that, who do you think it could be?
I'm going to go with Booster Gold.
Interesting.
Because for no other reason than he didn't do it in Heroes in Crisis. I think he did it here. That's all.
I think it's Martian Manhunter. And that's because on page 9, day 5, he's talking to somebody and he says, tonight's dandy, John. I bet we'll have lots of fun. So he's impersonating John at this point. And so I think it's to get information to, and I will say it is early on in like the number of days. We're like under half of what the issues would be. But I think it's him sort of probing and trying to figure these things out. There is that moment where someone's speaking in Russian, but I took that as like too far down the road in terms of days for him to like really be sure. He's still checking leads. And then he mentions the like perfume like consistently, and we keep seeing this woman come in and out, and that's the only reference to something that is somewhat sexual or something that is like that you would entertain somebody over time.
Okay, here's my theory. Look at the cover. Okay. The cover has all the JLI members, holding something up against the human target. Everyone's using their normal power set or roughly their power set or their weapons or whatever, except Gnort. Gnort has a goddamn knife. It's a Green Lantern knife, but that shit's menacing. And then if you look at Gnort at the JLI, I'm going with Gnort. The guy is super sus in this.
Who the fuck is Gnort?
He's the furry Green Lantern guy.
He's a Green Lantern?
Yeah, he's a Green Lantern. There's
No
two Green
way.
Lanterns on this team. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't like him. No, I don't like his face. He's
Me neither.
something up about him.
Yeah, you're right. I changed my answer. It's fucking Gnort. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. It's just zoomed
Like
in
I
on
think
him.
I think it's safe to say like
That's
Booster
fucking
Gold. Yeah,
That's
Booster
menacing.
Gold's too stupid. Too stupid. Look at that mustache. Look at that haircut.
Is that
Let's
Mitch?
be real.
Is that Mitch?
It
Tell me
kinda
that.
has
Is that Mitch?
I mean, it's not. So I mean, and then Guy Gardner, it seems like the obvious like aggressive guy there. He won't.
Yeah.
It's not Batman. Is this Mr. Miracle scot free? I always forget if the JLI Mr. Miracle is scot free.
Not sure.
I
think
assume
it is.
I assume it would be because it's not the new guy in current DC continuity.
Yeah, but even that new guy was Mr. Miracle previously.
But he's not.
Who's this?
It is. I don't know. He needs to go to a doctor though, a dentist, because he's got some jacked up teeth. That dude. I don't know what's going on in Russia, but they need to get some dentists over there.
How did he even get on this team? He looks like a
always been on it.
cosplayer.
He does.
What's his name?
Like a cardboard ass fucking
Is it
costume.
Rocket Red? Is it Rocket Red? DC?
Rocket Red.
It might be Rocket Red. I think it's Rocket Red.
One thing I did want to comment on that, so on Twitter, Hassan Otzman Elhau, he puts up stuff. He's a great letterer. He does these analyses on Strip Panel Naked, and one of the things that he tweeted out recently, yesterday actually, was the approach on the sort of cropped images that Smallwood does. Like a lot of the panels feel like they're cropped from what you could sort of capture from a longer distance perspective. But for some reason, to accentuate different things, he like takes certain what you would assume would be like a full scene and only focuses on certain parts of it to give this sort of choppiness that he says. And I think that throughout the book that stays true, and it makes the pace of it come in really pretty hot, like come in pretty quick. But I think Tom's writing helps to slow that down. I don't know. There was just like a really good balance, I thought, from the art and writing pacing perspective that meshed really well.
I think this is to your point. If I understand what you're saying, this page was fantastic.
Yes,
Oh, you
exactly.
mean Tom King going back to the 9-panel grid there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This page reminds me of the Dark Knight Returns. How that starts at the very first like page of that or whatever is Bruce, in the racing car, and you don't really exactly see the full face or the full car, the full anything. It gives that same vibe.
Like tension.
Yeah. It's a great looking book. And by the way, speaking of letters, Clayton Cowles did the letters here. I swear this guy's chained to a warehouse somewhere. Like, I don't understand how he does all this, but this is such a
He did.
great. Yeah, go ahead.
I think he does all of King's books.
I think
Or
it
at least
is
most
all
of
of
them.
everyone's books.
Yeah,
Can't
you throw a rock and you catch him as a letterer.
And last point for me is that the last page is awesome. I love how they did the credits.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like a nice stylized like TV show credit sequence or something.
Hmm.
And how the title was in the floor tiles of good stuff.
Which makes sense because this character did have a TV show.
That's right.
It was a Fox show, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Human
Like
Target.
two seasons, right?
I'm
More?
not sure how long
I think
it
more
lasted.
actually.
At any rate.
Let's talk about Dark Knights of Steel. This is the new Tom Taylor joint with art and colors by Yasmin Putri, with letters by Wes Abbott. Tom Taylor has this is a tale of two Toms. Taylor has kind of carved out this niche of being the guy to go to if you want a story that is not mainline continuity at all, that takes all the characters that you know and love and puts them in a situation that is foreign. And this is probably the best example of how foreign it can get. But I don't know that I fully love the result.
Huh. Okay. And a quick joke there, talking about pigeonholing a writer. Go check out the main show for further conversation on that. But I dug this. I liked the reimagining. I'm not usually like a fantasy sort of guy, but I think they kept it away from some of the magic enough for me to be interested in the reimaginings, the story itself, the way that the Superman Batman dynamic sort of changes here. I found a lot to sort of have fun with this one. I like this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't even necessarily say that anything was incompetent. I think everything was done well. I feel like maybe for me, there's so many stories now that are out of continuity that don't, that are taking the characters and doing different things with them. And I think I'm just burnt out on that, honestly. Okay. Everything here is good.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm actually loving that. Like, especially like Black Label. Then we have these books, the Dark Ages at Marvel. Like, I'm kind of digging the whole thing, like where I can just read this and like that's all I need. I can get everything I want from this one book. But in terms of Dark Knights of Steel, this one, I think it might be with you, Sean. I didn't hate it. I think I need an issue 2 though.
Okay. Did this not sell you on the concept, or?
I feel like it kind of threw me in there a little quickly, but didn't really explain what was like the world that well. Like it threw me into the world, but didn't really build the world up. I don't like. I know Black Lightning is the king, and I guess the House of El is another kingdom that are fighting with him. I don't get much from it, but also like the art, everyone was a little too pretty for me. Yeah, like I don't know, like maybe I'm used to like Game of Thrones and everyone's dirty and gross. Where like that's kind of what I expect in this. Yeah, I didn't hate it. That was okay.
All right.
I will be reading issue 2 though. So I did like the bit at the beginning, the classic, Krypton's about to explode. And like the one twist, which I don't think I've ever seen before, was like, what if Jor-El and Lara just jumped in the ship too? Like,
right.
Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense. They couldn't make it a little bigger. Like, there was a decent amount of room in there. It's like a Titanic floating, door situation. Could they have fit both of them on there? Probably.
And like she was pregnant. Like, give her some room, man.
Yeah.
That definitely played for me. I like that idea. And I like the idea that, Jor-El kills these people to protect his family, and he doesn't want to do it. He's not a bad guy, but that's just what he had to do. And then they kind of take over. But it appears that they're benevolent. They're not evil or anything. They've got, they're good. the whole thing with Batman, like being like Jor-El's son, low key, like, I don't know about that. Like, sure, let's see it play out, but just on its face, dropping that bomb in the first issue, that didn't do it. That didn't do anything for me.
I thought that was also playing on the bastard fantasy character trope a little too quickly.
Right.
You know, I thought the end was pretty sick though. Like the very end. I don't know if we want to spoil that part, but I think it's a good little.
We do spoilers. Go for it.
Yeah, Zor-El gets shot in the eyeball with an arrow. That was
fucking cool.
I will give this book one thing. I don't know who's on which side because all the heroes are like either bad or good. Like Black Lightning is introduced as like a bad guy, and then Green Arrow and Green Lantern might also be bad guys.
But is he a bad guy?
I don't know. Maybe Zor-El was a bad guy because he kind of is in the mainline books in a way, but he enchants Green Arrow's arrow and just dome shots Zor-El from like this is like one of those like Battlefield highlights. You know, like when you ever see? Okay, I feel like this should be. I feel like somebody should clip this, and then it's just like, "Hello, bozo," and then like it just like clips right into that. I don't know. If somebody can just get this book and do a nice Call of Duty Battlefield clip montage, go for it. Go for it.
Play the game.
Yeah, has to have like TikTok music behind it too.
Oh my god, that's funny. Yeah, again, I don't think there's anything wrong with this at all, and it wouldn't surprise me if we do the review for the second issue and I come around and I say, wow, this was fantastic. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Yep. I just didn't love this all the way. I think Tom Taylor's great. I still really, really want to see him like get the ball, kind of.
Yeah,
like,
dude. Yeah.
You mean like on like a mainline continuity book?
A big,
big. Suicide Squad was great by him. Like I love that book.
Yeah,
this guy has the fucking chops, and he's gotten some notoriety now from his Superman Son of Kal-El book.
That's right.
Maybe they give him something.
I mean, his Nightwing stuff's been really good too. Like,
yep.
My dude just needs to get put on a big ass book and be like, this is the next writer, dude, because he knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, if we had this conversation on the Discord, which you guys should join if you haven't. And
I feel like,
yeah.
I feel like I've been having this conversation about Tom Taylor for 3-4 years now. Like ever since Deceased, won. It's like, oh, what are they gonna give him? They're like, oh, another mid-tier character book. Oh, it's X-23. Oh shit, X-23 is fantastic. What are they gonna give him? Nightwing. Like almost there. So close.
Yeah.
I will say to your point, Tyler, I think the world here could have absolutely been built out a bit more. Like context could have been given for a lot, and the introduction of like the Kingdom of Storms, like it was cool, but I think with more context there could be maybe more like tension built there and more of like a conflict set up. It was good, but like I think there was some stuff there that could have worked a bit better.
I think scope is a bit of an issue too. Like we don't know how big these kingdoms are. We only see the characters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We don't see that. Like we see like maybe one establishing shot of the kingdom, but like I don't know how big this is. A map would be great to give me scope. Also, I'm a sucker for maps, so just put a map in it. It's a fantasy book. Put a fucking map in it.
And that's one of the things that I was kind of referencing when I said I was tired of these sorts of books. Like it's just so much that you have to learn about whatever's happening in order to understand what's happening. So like, yes, you're right, Tyler, that you only have to read this, but at the same time, if this doesn't give you the context that you need, then you don't understand it. And I don't think that's a problem in books like Catwoman, Lonely City that we read, where, that's mostly just an offshoot of mainline continuity, or even Human Target. But when it's a whole new universe that's different, like a what if, but a full story, that's where I kind of get a little bit, that's where I'm burnt out. But again, this is very competent. Everybody did a great job on this book. Yasmin is not an artist that I've seen before. I don't know
never even heard of her
work. Yeah. But boy, oh boy, was this really good.
Yep.
And like for this to be, and I'm not assuming this is her first book, but like if it is, this is some good shit.
Probably her first like big at bat. Just off the fact that none of us know who this person is. That sounds right to me, but I sound like I read every comic book.
Yeah, I just pulled up her DC page. She's done some like Hellblazer stuff and apparently some older Nightwing things.
Okay.
But
Interesting. Okay.
no idea. Not familiar, but good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about Swamp Thing.
Let's.
Swamp Thing.
Marco, you ever get
9.
tired of talking about Swamp Thing, Marco?
When we were working someplace else, I was doing reviews for a series that by Len Wein, Kelly Jones, and I was like all for it. It was a 6-issue mini, and I'm like, this is the book. These are incredibly. These are incredibly competent creators, and I had to do them dirty because it was good, wasn't great, didn't have the same sort of vibes, and did I stop? No, I was there, loyal to the end. Okay, to the end.
Wow,
I appreciate that. That's me with reading Daredevil during Andy Diggle's run. So,
did Andy Diggle get one?
Wait, you didn't like Andy Diggle's Daredevil?
Oh no! Then he gets into like what was it? When he had the demon inside of him, what was it?
Hell yeah, the Beast of the Hand, Shadowland.
Ugh.
The execution of Shadowland, I will give you, was not good. I think. Why are we on Andy Diggle? I think that hurt Andy Diggle's career.
It did, and then I followed up with like Thunderbolts, which wasn't that great either. Yeah.
Right, but I will contend that Daredevil run up until the actual Shadowland event was very, very good.
I'd have to reread it, but at the time, was not a fan.
Okay,
I was also a real big Brubaker fan, so like it followed that up, and I was like, ooh. and then Mark Waid and then Chris Samnee came right afterwards, or it was like Paulo Rivera at the time. And I was like, yeah, this is even better. Like it was like this valley of like, it's not very good Daredevil. Sorry, I didn't know that would set you off when we were talking about Swamp Thing.
You never know, man.
I never know.
Well, let's go back to the Swamp. You guys know the deal. This is Ram V, Mike Perkins, Mike Spicer, Aditya Bidikar. Great creative team. But let's talk about the actual content. It feels like this is the end game. It feels like we're ramping up towards the conclusion, which is weird because we know that now the book has been extended. It was announced today that this will be a 16-issue run. At least. Yeah.
Marco, we can pause it if you need to like just go and scream and jump around.
I'm tweeting right now. Wow, guys, my birthday came early.
There you go.
Holy shit. No fucking way.
But yeah, I mean, it does feel like so what is it? Issue 15 going to come around and be like, oh, it's like just announced as an ongoing at this point. Come on, guys. Everyone likes it.
Give me that shit.
Yeah. And can we talk about how that season thing that DC's doing is just a little funky?
I thought it would be a new issue 1.
Right.
And I was cool with that. I'm like, all right, this is like a volume, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I knew we knew season 2 was coming, but like it just is season 2 going to be after 16? Is it season 1 now? 16 issues?
Right.
And I don't fucking know.
And it's so funny that you put that way because DC set up an expectation of a kind of closed arc. Yep. And now we have no clue what to expect, which is not horrible, but it's not great marketing.
Sure, but I mean, when has comic books ever been good at marketing?
I mean, I'm not going to argue with that, but it's 2021.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's dive into the book. Now, Jennifer has been captured by Prescott, and they want Swamp Thing. Which I can't imagine the hubris you would have to think that you're going to somehow tame Swamp Thing. That's crazy to me. But that's old white guys for you, I guess.
And you know who's doing away with them? Ron B.
More ways than one. So yeah, no, this is I think hubris is like the theme of this issue in a way, in two ways. It's the hubris of Prescott, it's the hubris of his brother, and it's Levi kind of not succumbing to hubris.
Right.
He's embracing himself and he's realizing, what he can do. Marco, I'm going to refer to Marco for any kind of continuity Swamp Thing questions. When's the last time we've been able to see somebody like just willingly transform in and out of human and Swamp Thing? Was it Snyder's?
It was
Swamp
Snyder.
Thing?
Yeah, it was Snyder. Because at that point the body was like still attached to the elemental force, and so I thought that page in particular, thank you Tyler for shouting that one out, because that page in particular on every fucking level worked so well. And I just pulled it up, and this is for the viewers if you're on YouTube. So literally
It's gross.
Everything, the lettering goes from regular box to transforming to then orange, your typical Swamp Thing fare, and then you actually see him becoming the green coming on, the brown coming off. Like there's just so much goodness in that one page. It's phenomenal.
Now with less glare, by the way, Marco.
All right, well, I got my fucking
it's
here.
DC pages, so there's still going to be some glare, but
no, that is a brilliant page, and it's wild how, and we've referenced this before, but like isn't Perkins just firing on all cylinders?
Dude,
yeah.
I this is not to knock on Perkins. I used to consider him like the Diodato fill-in artist. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this guy's gonna be doing Carnage books for a while, like, which he was.
Yeah.
But like this is making me think of Perkins in a different light. Like this guy has a niche that he fucking excels at, and this is it. It's really, really good. Marco, the panel that pops out to me is the one where Swamp Thing looks back at Jennifer and he says "run," and it's like just a simple panel, but like just the angle and the look in his eyes is just so damn good. And the coloring by Spicer, where it's like it's color theory would be the opposite end of green would be purple, I believe.
Contrasting colors.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah,
it's and Spicer is doing that in everything. He's putting like traditionally weird color choices and everything. We talked about him in Beta Ray Bill.
That's right.
Where there'd be random pinks and blues and bright greens out of nowhere. It's in this book too, and I really like it. Spicer is really coming up there as like one of my favorite colorists currently. So
yeah, that stuff that's been consistent in a lot of Swamp Thing books, like the contrasting colors, specifically because like it's that sort of horror vibe. You get the sharp contrast in black and white, and Mike Perkins is very much an inker focused sort of creator. And then how do you accentuate that even further? Well, you make it more of a climactic and sort of calamity sort of thing. You add that same tension by adding that to colors. Kelly Jones would have, I'm forgetting her name, but Michelle, what was it? His colorist was Michelle something. Michelle Madsen, and she was doing phenomenal work on that stuff. Similar concept, contrasting green with purple, contrasting reds with whatever, like making sure that things are accentuated. But my dude Spicer is going above and beyond.
But that contrast works perfectly with the theme of Swamp Thing. The idea of man versus nature. You know, it's like this duality that are fighting against each other, but can work perfectly together at the same time.
It's a great point. Can we talk about the swerve in this issue where, we know that Levi is pissed, right? They took his girl and they roughed her house up. He doesn't know if she's alive or dead. But they got her. And you think that when a swampy character, something's coming to the Prescott building and it's going to be bad, and we think it's Swamp Thing and all his rage, but it's actually his brother, and man, he is fearsome. Like, this page, look at that smile. Look at that sick
Yes,
smile,
dude.
you know? There's so much personality in his face that's conveyed, whereas Swamp Thing I feel like is the kind of the opposite. Like you don't really get much out of his facials, but with this guy Jacob, like you get a lot out of it, and I feel like Perkins is having so much fun drawing him.
100%.
And
I
then
think
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say the other thing that like Perkins looks like he's having fun with, because it's been a theme throughout this book, is panel layout with plants and
Yeah.
like, is it veins? Is it a vein? Plant? Like you can see inside of a leaf.
Oh,
I don't know if vein is the word. I don't know of another word to put
sure.
it though. I'm not no botanist or anything like that. I'm just a lonely dude reading comic books in his the corner of his house. I don't know nothing about no plants. But yeah, no, just seeing like how he can kind of use that to like tell a story, and like it's good stuff.
Yeah, this is a brilliant book, and talking about it is making me want to make this my book of the week.
Yes, bro. Come on, dude.
You already said it. Nope, it was Ready Human Target. You can't go back on that.
Nope. All right. You're right. No, I just think this is fantastic. And I was a little bit concerned with how Rom was going to get us to the point of resolution from where last issue left off. But honestly, this feels right. Like if it were ending next issue, it would feel okay.
Yeah, I think he's set up enough where he's set up enough with this conflict, and I think left it in a place where you could wrap it up cleanly in the next issue, and I'd be fucking content with that. Like, not content that it's ending, but content with the fact that like the story was done.
Right. With the promise that we would get a season 2.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Unlike the TV show.
Unlike the
TV show.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, because I actually do think that was pretty good. I hope that Swamp Thing gets another at bat, but I'd like it to be a movie, to be honest.
There already is one.
Okay. There's 2.
Okay. Not a shit
cartoon
tier.
show too.
Not a. Oh my god.
Swamp Thing.
Oh man. Well, that is it for our reviews. But before we let you guys go, we do want to share with you guys what our pulls are for next week. The books that we are looking forward to that are upcoming. I think also we would probably all say pull each of these books, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
I think Swamp Thing, you might want to pull the other ones while you're at it too. I don't think pull this whole shit.
Catch up.
Yeah, no, for sure. But the other number ones, good jumping on points, I would say, Paul.
Yeah, 100%. If you're not on Swamp Thing by now, like there's probably nothing we can say to get you there.
Fucking idiot.
But yeah.
Oh damn! All right.
I mean, that's hard.
Holy shit! You're not wrong, but like, damn.
Nah, you should be ashamed of yourself if you're not reading Swamp Thing.
Heavy. Is anyone hot with what they're looking forward to from next week?
Yeah. So for me, it's Venom #1 by Al Ewing, Ram V, the aforementioned Ram V, and Brian Hitch.
Can I stop you right there?
Yeah.
Wasn't that delayed due to the supply chain issues?
It might have been, and I feel like I think my pick last week was The Thing, and I think that got delayed last minute too. So tentative right now. Thanks, COVID. But I'm seeing it as next week, and the lists are showing it as next week. So who knows? This might be my pick next week as well. So
just keep picking it until it comes out.
As of this recording,
yes. So yeah, I would say Venom. I like Venom a lot, and this is a team that I'm really excited to see kind of take a bat at this. Then I would also say Robin and Batman #1 by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen.
Oh yeah,
Dustin Nguyen on Batman. It's just like it's good every time.
It's just pretty.
So, that's a squad,
right?
Yeah. I'm gonna second Venom. I don't need to add anything. I think what you said is exactly how I feel. This is going to be really cool and special. I also wanted to shout out What's the Furthest Place from Here #1.
Oh, is that coming out?
Yes, that's this week. I feel like this is the most hyped book post summer. Like there's no book that is being talked about more, and it's because Matthew Rosenberg to his credit, can't shut up about it. And he has solicited all of his comics friends to talk about this book. So
he must have dirt on so many people. Like, I love it. It's great.
It's the best book I've ever read. I can't get enough. Yeah, this is probably going to be something special. Matthew Rosenberg and Tyler Boss are teaming up once again. They did 4 Kids, which I wasn't 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, which I wasn't over the moon about.
Finish that sentence. Jeez.
I'm sorry. Oh,
yo, Sean got it so.
I broke Sean. Sean wasn't very hot on 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, but he's excited for this book.
The Return of Tyler Boss. Yo, Dead Dog is Sean's still going. Dead Dog's
somehow turning red. Like, yeah. So, Marco, what are your picks for next week while Sean recuperates there?
So my picks are Eternals.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I needed that laugh.
Eternals #7, Kieran Gillen.
You're reading that too?
Yes, bro. Oh my god,
it's good stuff.
It's so good. Issue 6 was phenomenal. Such a great lead into issue 7 and all the individual pieces that have been coming out. So like there've been additional sort of supplemental issues with other artists that Kieran Gillen sort of worked with that have been really good. And
have been good. There was like a Dustin Weaver issue that was like, yo,
yes.
Good stuff. Yeah.
I'm ready to come back into this world. And especially with like the cliffhanger from issue 6. So yeah, I'm fucking ready. And the other book that I wanted to call out is the end of a mini called Mamo, Mamo. Issue number 5 is coming out. This is a boombox.
So we have Mamo number 5 coming out this week.
Well done. Close.
It's one letter away.
Oh my god!
Yo, Sean's coming in so late on these.
Tyler, you need to be stopped. Someone has to stop you.
You asked me to be on the show. This is what you get. I'm a little quick there, Sean.
But this has been a boom book that I've been in, a boom box book actually. So the kids
say
line
that 10 times fast. Jeez.
Boom box book that I've been enjoying a lot. It's super wholesome. The art style by Sass Millage has been great, and it's just been a fun magic story. 2 friends sort of trying to figure shit out and save their small town. Low stakes, but I think the emotional resonance from the characters has been really great to see, and definitely would recommend you guys catching up or waiting for the trade on this one.
Those boombox books are kind of like sleeper hits. Like they're just like,
yeah, dude, 100%.
They're not blow your pants off, but they're just like
comfort
food. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're really good.
Good stuff.
All right, that is going to do it for us. Oh, yeah, I've recovered. You guys talked enough for me to get my bearings. Let us know, you guys that are listening, what it is that you're looking forward to from this upcoming week of comics. Thank you so much for joining us. As a reminder, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/thecomicspals. Check out all of our interviews from New York Comic Con. We worked really hard on them, and hopefully you'll enjoy them. Listen to our main show, The Comics Pals, which drops every single Monday. We're talking about all of the characters and creators that you love in all the different places that you can find them. Listen to our Image Comics reviews, which drop every single Wednesday, day and date. This week we talked about Radiant Black #9, Spawn 320 something or other. I think it was 323.
Yeah,
like Spawn's just like, yeah, Spawn. It's more Spawn. You guys keep commenting on that shit. I'm gonna keep reading it, but it's Spawn, you know.
We gotta go. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next week, take care, guys.
See ya.